Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
Welcome back, Jason. What's going on, guys? What's going on, everybody?
What in the hell is this place?
You're a little quiet. You were fine before we
Sorry,
started.
it's me. I'm talking
No,
about
now you're fine.
I'm fine. Yeah. No, I was
Welcome.
focused on pouring a beer.
No, what do you got?
Hams.
Okay.
What better beer to drink to come back after a long summer's nap?
I'm
I
sure you
guess.
got a lot of time to homebrew in while you were moving.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
So much time. It's just been hanging back on a what 2.5 month vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
No.
Well,
Nope.
welcome to episode 84. Mostly just kind of a catch-up episode tonight. We do have people scheduled and show scheduled and actual topics and stuff coming up uh, in the future
do?
here, but we do.
Wow.
We have a BJCP show we're going to put on. We still want to try to get hold of pucks. We have, I know there was at least two other things. There's some stuff in our group chat that I was really excited about one night when I had like a few too many to drink probably, and I don't actually remember what those ideas were, but they got to be good. So I just have to go back and read our group chat.
We'll figure it out, man. No, it's good to be back. It's good. I'm in my new digs. Nothing's unpacked yet. That took a long time to trying to get a house ready to sell and move and downsize and purge everything in your life. It just took a little time. So thanks for putting up with holding on the fort while I've been gone.
I hope we did you proud. We the shows were a little bit more sparse without you, just because we had other stuff going on during the summer. Lots of festivals and homebrew competitions, and honestly just needed some rest a little bit there too. So
Oh, yeah. Speaking of homebrew competitions, I mean, I think you took some kind of obscure random no name medal recently.
What are you talking about? Me going to take a medal in Sicilianos? Is that we're just looking into the future here a little bit?
I don't know, Mazer Cup or something.
I did.
Maybe the biggest mead competition in the world. Is it?
I need to look to see if it actually is.
Gold medal nonetheless, right?
I took a gold. I took a gold medal in a sweet traditional. I think there were 28 or 29 entries, and a bronze in sweet fruit and spice with close to the same number of entries.
So just a quick Google of what is the world's largest mead competition in Mazer Cup.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, it was pretty wild. I was telling Shana before the show or before the awards that I would be ecstatic to take anything, but I was definitely looking forward to the score sheets from Mazer. This is my first year ever entering Mazer. My second year competing in mead overall, and so that was pretty blown away. It's funny if you go back and watch the award ceremony. Traditionals were split into dry, semi-sweet, and sweet this year, and there was sort of like a screw up between transitioning to semi-sweet and sweet, where they said my name, but like my name wasn't up on the screen yet. And I'm like, I think I just heard my name. Sheena's like, no, you did not. I'm like, I think I did. Like, and they were going for some reason they were reading the awards off, like they're presenting all three places, first, second, third, on the screen at once, and then reading them from first to third instead of like revealing them bronze, silver, gold like a lot of places do. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
No, that's super cool. You've had a hell of a year this year. Do you have a medal count for the year yet?
I was thinking about that the other day. I don't have one yet, no. But there's still a ton of competitions coming up that hopefully you and other people are in. Sicilianos is coming up. I talked to a few people about the Hoppy Halloween competition that's happening, I think somewhere over on the east side of the country. I can't remember the exact state. They have really cool medals. They are like like plastic Halloween like ghosts and bats and pumpkins and stuff like as the necklace part of the medal.
Yep.
So I mean that's pretty fun. Michigan Mead Cup is coming up. The Bell's Homebrew competition is coming up, which we should probably talk about on the show because we honestly didn't think it was going to happen this year. So it's kind of a surprise to us.
Yeah, totally different change in format, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I got to talk to Ian a few months ago about it when it was all very still much in the formation, and so I didn't really say anything. But yeah, I kind of like it. I know there were a lot of people that I'd heard in the past that it specifically said they didn't really want to enter it because they had to use somebody else's wort.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was kind of silly, but I get some people that don't like to kind of play with that level of unknown. So now, in case people have missed it, you get to show up for the expo where you would normally have picked up your wort, except now you're going to get a free allocation of malt. And
do you know how that works yet?
I don't know the exact details.
Okay.
I just know they're providing some form of malt. Really digging back into my memory banks. Yeah, I think there was going to be some other, allowance or coupon probably for either Bell's yeast or some other stuff in the homebrew store. So, and then the deal was, or the plan was, is that you would then take it away, make your beer, whatever beer you wanted to make with that malt, and of course you could add extra to it, and then turn that in, and the award ceremony is going to coincide with Kalamazoo Beer Week 2023.
Okay.
Let that stay,
man. No, I've had to kick him out like 5 times now.
So, which I thought was cool, tying it to Kalamazoo Beer Week, and it does shift it a little bit later in the year. I know in the past we were always kind of scrambling to pick up wort, and it seemed like the middle of the busiest time of year for everybody. When exactly? Let me look it up. When is the
pickup?
Yeah, when is the malt pickup?
I want to say it's in November.
So I thought too.
Yeah.
Let me go to Keepers. I know Tim shared it.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Matt Ushman? How's it going, buddy? Yeah. So you don't have to use their malt this year either. If you don't want to get any allocation of malt at all, you want to use your, fancy ass, premium homegrown whatever malt from some small farm in California or something. I mean, by all means, go for it. I do think that it'll make it a little bit maybe harder to reproduce if you do end up winning and they try to make your beer, but it's whatever.
I would say if any brewery could kind of pivot to make your unique, one-off award-winning beer, it would be Bell's. I mean, sure. I'm sure that they're going to be able to pull that off. So yeah, just looking at the details so far is you actually do have to register via eTix. There's a link on Bell's Facebook page.
Is it up yet?
It's not open yet, so you have to register via eTix on October 1st. There's a link to the eTix site, or that will take you right now to a Bell's holding page, and then or you can just show up in person and chat with one of their general store staff members who's going to help you get registered online. So they're doing that starting on October 1st, and then November 5th on National Learn to Homebrew Day is going to be the free grain pickup. And I believe that's also when they're going to be tapping the 2 previous years. Bill's got made.
Yep.
Bill Blakesley, fellow Keeper Crafton show alum. His beer, that was the Coffee Blonde, right?
Imperial Coffee Blonde, yeah.
Yep. And then I can't remember the other one, the winner from this year. And then, yeah, after between November 6th and December 23rd, you can drop off your beer at Bell's. Judging is going to be taking place shortly after that, and the winner will be announced with the Kalamazoo Beer Week festivities. So it's pretty cool.
Things to know that if you're going to compete, you probably don't want to use Bell's. Will not use, I think, artificial ingredients in their beers, or like maybe it's just like GMO things. Like they won't use genetically modified yeasts. So if that's like a key like ingredient in your beer, at least as of last year,
Yeah.
they didn't want to do that. And probably things that have that are like strong allergens or something too. But
Yeah, let's try to get at least maybe we can get Ian to drop by and give us a rundown of this in a couple of weeks when we get.
yeah, probably a lot of speculation on our part right now. yeah, we'll ping him.
I will ask him. I was just texting with him yesterday. So one more competition that I want to call out, although it may not be applicable to all of our viewers, but probably the biggest competition in Kalamazoo anyway. Keepers Cup.
Okay.
So you have to be a paid member in good standing with the Keepers of Craft. So if you're in our area or not, and you just want to chuck us $15, then you're more than welcome to enter the Keepers Cup competition. It's free to enter. It's brew your best beer, 1 entry per member. And I'm actually talking to Ian and looking at some of the guys from, the Bell's New Holland family.
Cool.
And talking to them about doing the judging for us this year. So I'm gonna be gathering up that beer mid-November. Right? What's our meeting date? November 13th.
Yep, that sounds
right. And
right.
then we'll be judging that beer and announcing a winner on December 11th. So
cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to try very hard not to be last again this year. So we'll see. But I mean, I'm very proud of my keepers for kicking ass. Yeah, I think you were second to last year.
We were both at the bottom. I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't have anything to enter. I don't think I'm going to have time to brew. I don't think I said it before. I know you explained why I was gone. When I moved, we downsized. We greatly purged and sold off most of our stuff as we kind of spend a year or two in this new home while we build our dream home, which right now my dream home will include a brewery of its own. But anyway, that's future plans. But right now, all my shit in storage, and I got no room to brew. So I don't know. I have this passion, especially watching you and all of your accomplishments this year and the amazing, composite you're entering and all the medals you're winning. I really want to get back into it. And I had an amazing time at Homebrew Fest, and it was great to get some hardware around my neck and from Beer Cup. And I'm jonesing for it, but man, I just don't. I don't think I'm going to be in the Keepers Cup or the Bell's Homebrew competition this year. I think I'm going to have to take a year off and come back hard next year.
That's fair. Yeah, that was kind of 2021 for me. I don't think I did a whole lot in 2021. Maybe definitely not as hard as I did this year. So maybe get some mead going. Doesn't take a whole lot to get some mead going. That will be ready. 3 months. Plus, depending. So.
I actually need your mead doctor help on that. I got that 5-gallon 8-year-old monstrosity and still in carboy. I need to bring that to you.
We'll doctor it up. We'll blend it, right? I think that's what we.
I don't know, man. Blend it out or something. Back sweeten it, dump it in a ditch. I don't know, man. It's on the story behind that one is I made it almost 8 years ago. The first iteration of it, I made a super, super sweet mead that I just killed all those poor yeast in there. It hit 15% alcohol and they died. And there's still, a ton of sugar left. And then so I rebrewed a really dry mead and blended them together and still wound up with something that was really sweet. But I just let it sit because I didn't know what to do with it. And then 5 years later, I threw cherries in it just to see what the hell would happen. And here we are. It's 8 years old. I
That's crazy.
Of it. pulled a sample the other day and forget exactly what I used, the words I used to describe it, but it is 1.000. Like, it is completely dried out. It's rough estimates, probably 18% alcohol, I would guess. I don't know. And I got like really cool, leather, almost wood aged characteristics off of it, but a little bit of rocket fuel because it's so high ABV. So I really don't know if it's salvageable or not. You got to try it.
I feel like that peach that I have downstairs kind of has a little bit of that too. Like I thought I did everything right with all my nutrients and stuff like that, and maybe peach just ferments a little weird like that. But we did find that blending it out, or even doing a half and half with water or something, just it's amazing. So I feel like
sugar back. It really needs some back sweetening.
I'm sure we can find something. I wanted to share my screen too real quick. These, let me see if I can actually undo this. I don't want to do this one. Have you seen what the Mazer Cup awards look like? I don't know if you've seen those before.
I've only seen the medal itself, or the picture I think you linked of the medal. But there's something else, right? Isn't there a mug or a cup or a...
Yeah, so Mazer is like a type of cup. That's like what the word actually is. So these are this year's awards. So first, second, and third each get one of these for their category. So really cool display piece. Like I really love competitions that have unique awards. You get a medal too, I believe, but like these are cool, like Dominion Cup, I think they did these like goblets this year, which are handmade and stuff too, and they're really nice. There's some competition. I got to find the name of it because I don't remember off the top of my head, but their best of show award this year was like a sword. Like how sweet is that? Like,
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you go on like Google Mazer Cup, they have the medals with that cup on the medal, and that's what I'd seen before. It's very glint cappy, kind of, which is nice. It's big, it's simple, it's fucking gold.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. You get that cup with it. So I didn't get a chance to listen to every episode while I was gone, but did you talk anything? Did you guys talk about our new role with the Michigan Beer Cup?
I don't know if we really went over it at all. So let's do that. I for sure believe I mentioned it, but I didn't really go into any detail with it. But
no, so it's just a tie-in, like
yeah.
So Brian and I are stepping in to assist in taking on kind of the lead roles of the Michigan Beer Cup, helping from Nikki and Dan, Dan's been running I think for 11 or 12 years, and then Nikki for the last several. It's just they've done a great job, but they're I think getting a little burned out or tired of carrying this weight and this load, and so they wanted a break, and Brian and I are stepping up, and we helped manage this year's competition right at the end, kind of doing I think we stepped in more at the judging session and then the awards, but I was going to say, it's one of the things I want to do is I think we lost Brian. I'm going to keep going, but anyway, one of the things I'd like to do is try to look at doing some cool stuff like that. Like, is it something we can modify the medals? I know people that enter competitions like to enter for the cool ass medals, and whether it's the additional trophies or whatever. You okay?
Yeah, my computer like glitched for a sec. I blame Dimitri. He's back in here for like the 5th time tonight. I can't kick him out of my office, so he's hanging out.
But yeah, I'd like to see if we can make the awards or even maybe the gold awards or first place awards something special. State Fair did Steins for a couple of years.
Mhm.
and this year they did a medal and a ribbon.
Mhm.
You got things like Mazer Cup doing that. You've got Valkyrie's horn. Don't they do a? Didn't they do a horn?
For best in show, maybe, or maybe it was like a tap handle like that.
And there was another. Oh, the Dominions Cup. You mentioned that you actually.
Dominion did they did a goblet for first place winners.
So
Yeah.
I'd like to see what we can do, just to try to drum up some interest there. The medals are cool. I love Michigan Beer Cup medals, but I think they've kind of shrunk over the years, and maybe we can kind of get them back up into some shiny gold goodness.
Yeah. He's so his name's Dimitri because he's a vampire cat. He bites. That's all he wants to do in life. So I had to kick him out again because he just bit my arm. But yeah, I would love to find something cool to do as special prizes, even if it's just like gold or something.
Oh, Danny came in. It was pirate bobbleheads at Port City Plunder and swords for best of show.
Thank you. That's awesome. I didn't even know they did the bobbleheads. That's awesome.
I couldn't imagine awarding a best of show sword at beer camp for beer cup, so we probably won't go there. No. There's a safety factor we got to play in. But yeah, super pumped about what we can do with the awards there. And I think it was last year, even Bell's Homebrew comp was the first year they did medals, and they did big, obnoxious, I should say.
Those were great. Yeah, I forgot they started doing those. Yeah. I want to win one now. I've never even gotten an honorable mention in the Bell's Homebrew competition, so I'm gonna give it my all this year. We'll see.
Nice. With blueberries?
No blueberries. Although I think Nate in our club said he might go the blueberry route this year just because Larry's not there anymore, just to kind of push some buttons or boundaries. I don't really know, but and for those not aware, Larry has never made a beer with blueberries because he hates blueberries. Apparently, that's the lore as I understand it. So when you enter a blueberry beer into the homebrew competition, it just gets booted.
Yeah, we heard that unofficially.
Unofficially.
If the beer entered at the homebrew was blueberry, it was disqualified, or
because they wouldn't want to brew it.
Right.
I think we gave that. No, that was given as advice on our show last year. Actually,
That's right.
Ian did actually say that on the show. So we'll see this year.
So
I swapped over to cold IPA.
You're not drinking that amazing fest beer?
That was my first beer.
It was.
And I'm not going to drink any more of it at all.
Bullshit.
I can't. It needs to. I need to hang on to it for another month for a party. So it's just going to lager for a month, and it's going to be really hard to drink. I'm probably going to take it off tap just so I'm not tempted to drink it or anything. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to just brew another batch so I have that one to drink. But I really like this batch and I'd rather serve it than drink it. So, yeah.
Well, so there's been a couple of posts recently that made me think about this, and actually I think it was Craig. Was it Craig Matney? Yesterday posted, him brewing, and I think you guys talked about doing like a brew share.
Yeah.
And so I'll put out the shameless plea. I just moved. I have no access to my home brew, and my beer fridge is empty. So if anybody with some amazing award-winning homebrew wants to share it, we'd love to do a homebrew review. And God damn it, I need beer. So
perfect.
help a brother out and send me and Brian and Jordan some beer or a message, and we'll come get it or figure that out, and then we can do some homebrew review shows. I'd love to do some with, especially coming out of the competition cycle. If anybody's got anything out there that's won recently, that would be awesome.
Speaking of that a little bit, and I'll have to ask my Secret Santa when this happens, but the Master Homebrewers program is doing they're doing a Secret Santa beer swap this year. So you put your name in, what you can provide, if you can provide beers or ciders or meads, and you'll be matched up with somebody that wants, beers or ciders or meads. You can say like if there's styles you're looking for in particular or styles you don't want, then you'll get matched up with someone. And maybe depending on who I get matched up with, I'll ask them if they'd be okay with us talking about beer on the show, and maybe we can take that beer and get together and just kind of have a show or something, or it can be part of like a homebrew review show or something. I don't know yet. I'm brainstorming right now, but
I'm actually debating signing up for that blind Santa thing too. I'm
blind. Yeah. What is it called?
What did he call it? He just posted about it yesterday. So it was Secret Santa for homebrew.
And speaking of, Matt Harold said he would be on the show at some point in time, so maybe we gotta reach out to him too. Yeah.
But no, I was looking at that when Matt posted it a couple of days ago, I think, and I was debating. I'm like, man, do I have enough like cool shit left that I could do it? And I don't know. And then I thought maybe I'd just go to Brian's house and steal some bottles.
Sure. Yeah, they're calling it Secret Santa. Yeah. So as of right now, there are 11 people signed up. So that's pretty good. I mean, there's a ton more people than that in the program, and I'd imagine as it gets closer to the day, more people will sign up and stuff too. But
yeah, I want to, I really do, but it's the same thing. I want to do everything with beer right now. I just don't know if I can pull it off in the next few weeks.
Doesn't Brandon have a extra electric brew system or something? Right? He has like 3 different brew in a bag systems. Did he offer it to you?
Yeah, he did.
Did he? That's funny.
I think he was like, "Yo, you want to borrow my anvil?" Or I think it was his anvil. It might have been a spike. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I love him for it. It's room, man. Yeah. I need a few weeks to get my shit cleaned up, sorted out.
Yeah, no, I know everything's still in totes. I'm surprised your computer's unpacked. I guess you probably need it for work, but
yes. I don't even have my aquarium moved yet. So we're living in this house, and my old house is sitting there empty with my saltwater aquarium in there by themselves. So we have to go there once a day to feed the fish.
Jeez.
That's the last thing that'll move. But then, yeah, unpacking totes and clearing shit out, and then I can try to dig my brew system out of the garage.
What's the first thing that you're going to make? Once you got it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really wanted, like we talked about, or we've talked around it the last couple of days. I really want to address some categories I haven't brewed before. But last January, my first beer of 2022, I sent you a message and said, "What in the hell should I brew that I've never brewed before?" And you told me very quickly, like, I don't know, you must have been thinking about it. You like fired back Czech Dark Lager.
I had just brewed a Czech Amber at the time, and I had never brewed a Czech Dark, and I'm like, oh, I should brew a Czech Dark next. And so that's why I said, well, you do it instead.
And I did. And I wasn't sure if, like we talked about, like, is it a Schwartz beer? Like, what did I actually make? Was it a Czech Dark? Was it a Schwartz? Was it something else? I think it did. I forget. I think it got a silver or something in Sicilianos, which is what it is. It didn't actually medal, or that was as a Schwartz beer. And then it didn't actually medal at Michigan State Fair, but it did get a gold at Michigan Beer Cup.
Right.
And I got decent feedback off of it from both of them. It oddly enough, it scored, I think, pretty close to each other in both competitions. It just, in one competition, I had more competition, I guess. But I think I had enough feedback to tweak it a little bit. And so I really like drinking it. And I really want to kind of continue on with the lagers. So it might be that kind of a rebrew tweak of the Czech Dark Lager. Although to be honest with you, the only beer I could pull off right now would be Eagle Juice.
Sure. Yeah.
So
I
if
mean,
I'm really
do
getting
it then.
itchy
Yeah.
for it, I might just do that.
Speaking of Eagle Juice, and maybe this will transition to like a yeast topic or something, but I used Diamond Brew Diamond Lager yeast on my last batch, and I swear that's been like my favorite batch so far. And so I went and bought more packs, and I used that for my Fest beer and my Märzen this year. And the Fest beer, like I just think is so good. Like I'm so incredibly happy with how it turned out. I've only tried the Märzen out of the sample port, but I think it's killer too. Um, I don't know. Like this is becoming maybe my new go-to lager yeast. But I haven't even used liquid yeast in like 3 or 4 months now. You know, dry yeast has come so far, even the last like couple years.
I mean, well, I feel like one of the last shows that I was on, I went on a ramble about Verdant. So
Yeah, yeah.
I've been using Verdant in almost everything.
I was gonna say you could probably use it in almost everything. Yeah.
And it's the same, like with the loggers, using 3470, using Verdant, Philly Sour. I think I'd have to go back and look, but I might have only brewed dry yeast this year.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. My only complaint, my only thing that I'm looking for that I still can't find really, I still like Sazenstein from Omega. It's just a really good saison blend. Not that I make saisons a lot, but um, I'm having a hard time wanting to move away from that. Excuse me, and a dry Scottish yeast. So I really like something like an Imperial's Tartan, just because it has like a sort of a hard stop right at 10%. And for my big beers, I actually don't like them to go above 10. I like to be able to control where the residual sugar, ends, where the final gravity is. Um, so like for my Russian Imperial stouts, if I want to end it at 1035, I can come damn close uh, to hitting that almost every time. I mean, it's going to vary a little bit based on, available nutrients and stuff and oxygen and whatever, but it doesn't go much above like 10 and a half. But I haven't been able to find anything dry. And if anybody knows about dry Scottish yeast in chat right now, let me know. I haven't done a ton of research, but I haven't really found anything.
Homebrewers Association, it looks like a lot of people are posting 1728.
That's a liquid yeast, though, right?
No, it's dry yeast. Oh, why yeast?
Yeah. Do they do dry yeast?
That's what this post says. I don't know. I'm going to look it up. WY 1728.
Last I knew, why yeast only did liquid, but if they do dry, I mean, that'd be freaking sweet.
No, that's a liquid pack. So these people just don't know how to read. The fucking header says best dry yeast for Scotch ale.
Yeah, people suck. That's another thing that I need to do. And so again, I'm going to go back and maybe do a shout out for the Master Homebrewers program again. I'll post this on our Facebook page afterwards, but this is, in fact, let me pull it up right now. I'm going to pull up a link. So Matt, what he does is, and so he has this whole spreadsheet just
hopefully he'll be back. He's going to talk about his spreadsheet. I think that he tracks, I'm going to guess, you're going to talk about the different beers that you haven't brewed.
Yes, I didn't open a new tab. I just kind of browsed away from our stream. So yeah, so I didn't realize how many styles I hadn't brewed really. And some of these are stuff that I have and just have never competed with. But let me share this. So you submit him your score sheets, and he sets you up with a um, spreadsheet basically that lists um, all of the best score basically you've scored in a style based on the spreadsheets that you've submitted to him, or to the program. And there's requirements for certain styles and certain scores and stuff like that to kind of progress through these ranks. You can read about it all on the website, but look at all of these, styles here uh, that I've never brewed for a competition. I mean, it's insane. Like I have probably only brewed maybe like and competed with maybe 80% of what's out there. If that, I'd have to do a quick formula or something to figure it out. But I mean, it's insane. And so I think in 2023, I kind of want to step out of my uh, I don't know, comfort zone a little bit and brew some of this other stuff, because I know I like a ton of these different styles and stuff. It's just beers that I haven't brewed because I got really into like maybe New England IPAs for an entire year, and that was like 80% of what I brewed. Or this year I'm brewing a ton of lagers. Um, I've brewed out of my last like 8 brew sessions, I've brewed an American light lager 4 times. Like things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I get that. Like I think I mentioned to you earlier, like I'm pretty sure that 80% of my judged beers fall into 3 categories. Maybe 4. I got off the IPA train really quick, but for a long time I competed like specifically in fruit, Irish stout, and European sour ale,
yep.
and that was it. Um, and and so I'm sure my sheet would even look more sparse than yours. Like I feel like I've started this year to dip into some of those other categories, but yeah.
It's kind of the point where it's like you know all right, I know that I'm good at these things. Like I've brewed a 43 plus in these categories. Like I have a recipe and a way to brew it that can probably turn out a beer that may not hit a 43 plus every time, but it's a damn good beer. So time to work on something new maybe. um yeah, I think 2023 is going to be a good year for that. I One thing I thought that I was really good at, honestly, that I think people have really started to kill it at way better than me, are New England IPAs. I sort of want to get back on that track next year again a little bit too, even though people are still. I don't feel like people are brewing them quite as much, but um, there's a lot of new crazy yeasts out these days, like the thiolized yeast and stuff like that. And I have not been the biggest fan of the beers that I've had that have been made with them, but I also don't know if it's because of the breweries, or if it's the yeast. And so I need to do a lot more experimenting with that. Um, it's hard, man, because you want to make all these beers, and like you said, it requires all this time. But then, at the end of the day, you're also left with all this beer too, and it's like you don't want to drink it all. I I need to find more people to give beer away to, probably too. So,
I know.
but then that's expensive because you got to buy bottles and caps and stuff. And but it's worth it. I guess I don't know. It's worth it to me.
I So doing the move and the consolidation and things that I've done over the last few weeks. I keep hearing somebody. Sorry. Um, I have call it 20 plus kegs in my garage, half of which are empty. Um, and I feel like that I haven't even brewed 12 times yet this year. So I've got the keg space to do it. And then you just have to take it to, Homebrew Fest, or, you know, we need to have the Keepers Party, or Oktoberfests, or weddings. I don't know. Get to know people. Just
Yeah,
show up.
yeah. I'm looking at my brew schedule from this year. I don't have the Oktoberfest or the Märzen on here, but this is sort of how my year's gone. So I think I've done 28 brews this year, if you include some mead too.
Yep.
So not too bad. But I've been trying to do a really good job of visualizing my year so far. This is the most recent competition season right here. You know, it's like, or no, that was Michigan Homebrew Festival. Like trying to get everything ready for MHF. Like you can. It's funny seeing it visualized, just how like, uh, you know, crammed everything had to be. So between July 9th and so August 1st. No wait. July 12th and August 1st, I brewed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
My goal this year, I set the goal at the beginning of the year to brew 12 brews, or to do 12 brews this year. It's September. I believe I'm sitting at 10. And I might just be stuck there. I don't know. I feel like I can pull it off. Like it's cider season, and I really,
it is
really want to do a cider because so like we talked about this. You and Jordan and I think all three of us have won a silver and a bronze in Glint Cap, right?
Never gold. Yep.
Never gold. So all three of us, we joke that we all need to kind of go for the gold next year, and then we would have a full set each. And so I really want to do something in the cider Perry space this year, but so I probably will break down and do that. I'm all my shit is empty. I can pull out a Speedle, go down to Husted's, and although I actually I love Husted's and Husted's, however you say the name. I'm sorry.
I don't actually know. Yeah.
I was at the store the other night, and I haven't tasted it yet, but Myers was selling gallons and half gallons of Blake Cider's 5-apple blend, non-pasteurized, I believe, cider.
No way, really?
I got a half gallon in the fridge.
Huh, that's cool. How much was that?
I don't even know, man. It was in the grocery. I saw it and grabbed it.
Okay, all right.
So if that's good, I might have to go. It specifically calls out that it's Blake's Select 5-apple blend cider. That might be fun to do something with. But then I saw like Livingston Social. They're doing a pressing, and they've got like somebody with an orchard over there that does some blending. I contemplated, pulling on Kevin Penn's friendship and running over there to get some. I don't know. I really want to do a cider. Maybe I'll try to do 2 just so I can check off my gold box.
They supposedly will have pear juice this year as well. David just made a post earlier tonight saying that he found out
they're going to actually have it at the share.
Yep. Probably more limited than their apple, but I guess they're going to have it. So
that's the pear juice will also be available. I didn't see that. So that's my 2 medals at Glint Cap. Yours too, aren't right? Both of yours are for Perry?
No.
I thought we did.
Let's see here. I have a silver and a gold. No, I'm sorry. I have a bronze and a silver for Perry. But I also have a bronze for a cider too, I think. Maybe another silver for a cider. I can't 100% remember. But yeah, Perry is my highest scoring for Glint Cap, at least.
Yeah, my Perry is the bronze and the silver. Same Perry, just 1 year apart.
Part of me wants to go big on cider this year and pick up like 15 gallons of cider and do a fire cider. just like boil that shit down to like 5 gallons. Um, like just literally have it boil like all day long. But man, like I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm still deciding on if I want to do that or not.
I feel like that's a lot, right? Like
It is. It totally is.
so Jeff Carlson, who
You're a little
won.
quiet again.
I'm sorry, I just
I
sneezed.
saw you sneeze. Yeah.
Um, so Jeff Carlson won Best of Show Cider for Michigan Beer Cup this year with his fire cider.
You did.
And I want to say his notes on that said that he had only boiled it down until it was 10:55, which I don't feel is very much. Like I feel like apple juice or apple cider on its own is like
It's already usually like 10:40, I think,
yeah, I was
10:50.
gonna say
Yeah.
10:40. So
My guess would be maybe
boil,
closer to like 10:15 or something.
but for you to boil down 15 gallons to 5, I feel like, I mean, I don't know if the math is linear like that, but wouldn't you expect to wind up with, an 1120 ish?
Sure, why not? I some of my sweet meads start off at close to 1.200.
So, Shayna, thank you for your question. A fire cider is just that. You take the ice cider is concentrating the cider juice through the act of freezing and separating water crystals. Fire cider is the concentration of juice through boiling or evaporation.
The thought is that boiling it can and does create melanoidins in the cider, and melanoidins are like what causes bread crust to be sort of like that color and have that taste, or like the crust on like a steak that sort of has that like that rich flavor. It's not meaty; it's just a more of a rich sort of bread crust like flavor or something. So um, getting that in a cider doesn't necessarily have like, I don't want to say it tastes like bread or anything like that, but it gives it a very rich flavor. It's what makes like Meritzens have like that rich, sort of inviting, not quite sweetness sort of thing too. And I don't know. Yeah, it was. I did get the opportunity to try it at Beer Cup this year, and it was quite good. And I'd never heard of the style until I sat down with, gosh, who did I have that with? Sandy, right?
Yeah.
I think it was Sandy.
We were judging with Sandy.
Yeah. And she told me what it was and explained to me like how it's made and stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of want to try it now. I don't think I can. I don't want to take this away from other people, but I would almost want to do it with pear juice. But I know pear juice is going to be more limited this year. But could you imagine like a fire perry or something like that? Like that'd be kind of cool too. Like,
so Amy, I forget where. It had to have been beer camp. I don't know. It might have been one of the traveling people at beer camp. I think somebody poured her an ice Perry. And after we got home, I was told that we would be making ice Perry this year. Like, not an option. Like it's just going to happen. And I'm like, that's really difficult on its own. Because I mean, let alone difficult finding the pear juice, but then to take it and apply the ice process to concentrate it. I don't know, but
definitely
she was pretty adamant about it. Yeah, I need to talk to Steve. But when is the shares? October 1st?
Yes.
Or the press. I'm sorry.
And thank you, Nikki. If we have anybody over near the east side, KGB has a cider buy-in going now too. So $5 a gallon for wherever you guys are getting your cider.
I was gonna call Nikki out on that. I mean, if I had the energy right now, I think it would be cool to go and get get some cider from the KGB buy, get some from the Livingston buy, get our Husted buy, get some Blakes while you're over there. What the hell? And then kind of do your own blend. It might be fun. Or just do a tour of Michigan, fucking cider run. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So on for the Kalamazoo people for KGB and Club, I think it's both, right? KGB and Club.
Yeah.
Cider Quest is going to be October 1st at Husted's.
The first one. There's usually two. So even if you think you might have to miss this first one, don't feel bad. There's usually a second one. Pear juice is not usually available at the second one, but the cider should be. So
I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure out a way this year to punch the rest of my dance card with pear and cider. Pear and cider. So
do it.
Don't think I'm going to be able to pull off an ice perry, but goddamn it, I'll try. We'll see.
I don't know what the concentration is to do that.
I don't either.
Like, I wonder if you'd only end up with, like 1 gallon. And I don't know. I feel like it takes a lot of babysitting too.
It's
an exact temperature control.
Yeah. Which I happen to have 2 empty freezers with temperature controllers.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, cider time. So that's what we're gonna do. Ciders. We have to get a gold. I have to get a golden Glen cap to have a full set. You know me.
Exactly. Totally. Yeah. And I think that's where everybody that I know really in person is weakest at. Like, I don't feel anybody really knows a whole lot about making cider, like what makes a good cider or how to balance a cider. I've talked to Jeff Carlson at Houston Husted cider pickup before, and I asked him what his secret was, because he brought a gold medal winning cider was, and he's like, oh, just add more cider. Like he temperature controls, he does proper fermentations with nutrients and stuff like that, and whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely you're not going to be taking gold with like fermented mats.
No,
not that it doesn't make a really good cider, but it's missing like character. It ends up missing life.
Yeah.
I made like a really good berry cider that I brought to MHF this year, and we ended up turning it into a slushy, and it was phenomenal. In that it's just like, a really crushable, drink that you don't really have to think about, but there was nothing complex about it or whatever. Like,
right.
There's a difference between complexity and drinkability, I guess. I don't know.
No, I'm with you 100%. I mean, you can make some really good drinking, booze with the Mott's apple juice, whatever. But no, I'll be honest with you. Like, it blew my mind the first few ciders that I made, and I was kind of back sweetening with concentrated apple juice, and then I forget who it was that told me the same thing. Like, why aren't you back sweetening with the cider that you use to make the juice? And I was like, I didn't even think of that. That's awesome. So much more complexity, flavor, depth.
And honestly, I was thinking about that same thing earlier. You don't have to use the whole gallon of cider as is. You can boil that gallon of cider and concentrate it, and you still have your same sugars in there.
Yep.
You're just not adding back in all the extra water and stuff like that. And if anything, maybe you're making the flavor a little bit more complex and interesting too, just because you're kind of boiling some of that off, as long as it's maybe not like a varietal or something that has like a very distinct taste, and I'm not, again, that's a weakness that I have with ciders. I don't know what some apples are supposed to taste like or something. I don't think, I think there's a big knowledge gap there, with probably 99% of the home brewers in America.
Yeah. No, I mean, going back, I might even have to do that. Is go back and watch our Blake's episode and shit, and kind of brush up. Talking to him, like, it blew my mind. The Again, kind of thinking about the palette of flavors that we use for malts. It's the same thing with apples, and I would imagine the same kind of thing for like back sweetening. And it's it's just something I don't have the ability or the equipment access to brew right now, but I can. I'm pretty sure I can do cider. So
Well, and back on the metal topic, I was having a talk with somebody earlier in the week about uh, getting like a really high score. I think they ended up getting something like a 44 with one of their beers and didn't end up placing, which is gut wrenching because 44 is absolutely insane. Um, but there's also sort of a distinction between technically good and interesting.
mhm.
So uh, part of the challenge with competitions, and this goes with beer, and I'm assuming with probably cider too, is that you have to make it technically good enough to make it to the mini best of show, assuming it's a little bit of a bigger competition that has a mini best of show. But then it has to stand out in some way. It can't just be the technically best cider or beer or whatever there, because the way that these competitions generally work is that as judges judge these beers or ciders or meads or whatever, they get to pick and choose what they want to come back to a mini best of show, and then the mini best of show is done hedonistically. It's
Mhm.
what is the best tasting.
More
uh,
interesting even.
yeah,
Or
totally, yeah. Nobody, you don't know what the score is at that point in time.
yep.
um, I think that the proper way to do it is to do a mini boss with people that didn't judge the initial flights. Is that
It
right?
should be, yeah. Guidelines
Yeah.
are, and you should only do a mini boss when you have multi-flight um, categories. So if and we'll talk about this more as one of the lessons learned when we were working on the Michigan Beer Cup, and I've talked to some judges about this. But if you're just sitting down to judge a 5 beer flight, two guys or a set of judges should not need a mini boss. They should be able to judge those 5 beers and score them appropriately. But in categories like IPAs or in large format competitions, like Glint Cap or Mazer Cup for ciders and meads, where you may have 50 different traditional. What was your sweet traditional? Yeah,
Hmm.
there may have been 100 different traditional sweet meads, and so those are going to be judged over multiple category. I'm sorry, multiple flights by multiple sets of judge pairs, and so at that point, all of the outstanding ones from each judge pair should come together for a mini best of show done by a completely separate set of judges, um, just so they don't have any bias.
And then it's just
And
what
then
tastes best. Yeah.
scores
These are
are
the
out
creme de
the
la creme. So yeah,
window.
just
And getting to watch like judges do best of shows this year a couple of different times, it's amazing. Like watching them do the final best of show for Michigan Beer Cup, right? There were 20 different beers at that table. Um,
26,
it
20.
wasn't all of them.
Okay. Okay.
And then cider and Perry, yeah, it might have been 20. High, above 20,
High
more than
for
20 beers.
sure. Yeah.
And I know we had like 2 or 3 categories that didn't have any.
You're right. Yep.
Um, but just to have them sit there and kind of go through and they're quickly tasting and they're like, which ones are boring, like that my Czech was in one of them, and it's like, yeah, that Czech dark lager, it's good, but it's just dump
Yeah.
out it goes, and it's
Yep.
off.
Yeah.
So
That's all you get. Yeah.
when you come to that best, and that I'm sorry, that was a bad example. That was a best of show round, not a mini boss, but still, those judges are sitting there, they're tasting it blind, and they're really just looking, for that standout flavor, that standout character. Um, and so you have that, if you have a multi-flight event being judged it's quite possible that you're going to have the best three beers, the not be the highest scoring beers. I mean, I know, you talked about Matt and his 44. Um, I mean, you go back to David Jones with his 46 uh, sour, and he didn't even place with that. So, I mean, shit happens.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think one of the pieces of advice that we put into our presentation too at one point in time is maybe try to find something whenever you're making your beer, if it's for a competition, that just kind of makes it stand out a little bit, that tweaks it a little bit. Somebody, I think it might have been um, Marshall Schott from Brewlosophy, who has I can't remember the style of beer. It might be like a blonde ale or something like that, that he just throws like an ounce of like pale chocolate malt into or something. It's just enough to not really alter the color of the beer much, but it just adds like a little bit of something that kind of makes you think. Like it doesn't taste like chocolate at that point in time. It just doesn't taste only like pale malt, you know,
Yeah.
and that could be enough. Um,
The first brewing book I ever read was Extreme Brewing, and it talks about, if 1 pound of fruit is good, then 3 pounds of fruit is better. And that's the way I lived my life for a long time, but it doesn't work all the time. And, especially when you start brewing for competition, you really do, you do have guidelines that you got to fit within, but I still firmly believe in kind of pushing those guidelines,
mhm.
being, if being at the top end of your hop range or your IBUs or, your flavors or, uh, like that, putting in that something extra that's not going to really take it too far off kilter. It's not going to throw you, they're not going to write down and say this should have been experimental. What the fuck? It was a black pale ale or some shit. Um, but make some tweaks to make your recipe stand out. I
One of
think I talked. I was going to
Go ahead.
say like for my dry Irish, like dry Irish stouts can have coffee characteristics. I throw a bunch of fucking coffee in my dry Irish stout.
I think that when I took gold from you in 2019, I think maybe in
Yes.
Irish Stout, that was Drew's Cafe con Leche recipe that had uh, like coffee and vanilla in it too in an Irish Stout.
Well,
Like, you know,
I've brewed that beer with and without coffee and entered it as an Irish stout, and I don't say shit about coffee.
no, 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 yeah.
And it's always done better with coffee. Like it's always scored better. It's scored higher, um, because I'm calling out that characteristic.
With
Yeah.
with your comment about fruit though, my one of my favorite meads that I've made this year is just a black currant dessert mead,
Mm-hmm.
and it is consistently among the lowest scoring of the meads that I've sent into competitions this year. Which so I just stopped sending it because I got
Because
enough feedback. It
I
is
mean,
so yeah. When you say if 1 pound is good, three is better. I this used 30 pounds of black currant in a 5 gallon batch, and it is very sweet. I mean, this thing topped out at, I think it finished at 1085. That's where it sits right now for sweetness, but the tartness is still so heavy
mm-hmm.
that it's still not balanced. It would actually need to be more sweet than what I actually made it.
Yeah,
um and the complaint is like, oh, I can't drink a bunch of this in one sitting, but I bottle it in 187s, and so the point is to drink it, maybe split it with two people and drink it 3 ounces at a time. So that's the way that I made it, and it's not to say it's not good, but it's a little offensive in terms of how tart it is, because maybe it's not drinkable, in the
right.
long run.
There's a limit to the going into the home, but
So
I mean, I love that.
It's got to
I
be
love
treated
that
certain ways.
I'm actually pretty sure I still have a bottle or two of it because you give it to me. I do love it, and it's super delicious. But it is very bold.
I don't think it's gotten above a 33 this year.
Really.
It got a 30 in Mazer, which is still fine, but it's not like you're not going anywhere with a 30. And all the score sheets are there's no fermentation issues. It's just that you can't taste the honey over all the tartness or something like that. There's no balance. It's just like you're tasting sweet black currant, which I'm down for, but maybe you can just do that with like table sugar and water. I don't know. Like, do you need the water at that point in time? Maybe, or the honey? Yeah, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
But I do want to do some trades with people from over on the east side this year. We got to reach out to a few clubs and see if maybe we can organize something like that. Going back to a topic earlier in the show.
No, I'd love to. Like I said, Daddy needs beer. Help a brother out. And I just wanted, I want to drink those guys' beers. I mean, I love going to beer camp and getting a drink, the KGB and the Motor City Masher and the Livingston. Well, only Kevin brought it this year, but I want to. Yeah. So it'd be great to get some of that shit.
Yeah, Motor City tore it up at State Fair this year. It was Motor City on top, right?
Right, you were the individual with heavy metal, and right. Motor City was the club, the heavy metal club this year. So,
were we second or third?
I don't know. I don't think that he said. I don't know.
Matt says he doesn't never have any luck at the State Fair. Did you enter the same stuff at State as you did at MHF, Matt? It is. It feels totally different for some reason. I'm totally with you. Like, Jason, you took how many medals at MHF and with the same stuff didn't medal at all at State Fair?
Yeah, 3. Yeah, no,
3 or something.
I mean, but to be honest with you, like,
okay, different stuff.
2 years ago, I took 4 medals at State Fair. Last year, I took 3 medals at State Fair. Or whatever, minus the COVID year.
Right.
But no, this year, I entered the same 3 beers. Well, technically, I entered the same 3 beers in both competitions, but only 2 of them medaled at Michigan Beer Cup. I had a Cobra medal at Michigan Beer Cup.
Matt's saying, 0 for 4 at State Fair and 3 and 4 at Beer Cup. Yeah, I get it, man. I know. So we're as a club, I don't know. At least me as an individual, I'm going to try to be more active in like the local competition scene in 2023, whether it's judging or stewarding. So Matt, you should totally. Even if you're not interested in judging, come steward some of these things so you can like see how they work and stuff. And I feel like understanding the inner workings of a competition sort of helps you get like a little bit of a competitive edge too, because you sort of know what like judges are looking for when they're judging beers, and you can see score sheets as they're being written. You don't necessarily know who they're for or something like that, but you get to try leftover beer and look at the score sheets and stuff like that too, right? And sort of get an idea of like what the judges are seeing in beers that like maybe you don't and stuff. Plus you get free lunch, you get to network and meet people. I was telling somebody the other day that like 70% of the people that I talk to like on a weekly basis now are like homebrew people, like it's probably actually far more than that. aside from some of my old, work friends. It's a lot of people from my club and other clubs in Michigan. So like the networking is cool. I've met some of the greatest people in the state,
Oh hell yeah!
in my opinion, just because of the hobby, including you, Matt. So yeah,
But just
it's
getting to
cool.
go, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Call it. Shout out to Matt and Trouble Brewing. It's been great connecting with him. But um, just getting to go there and hang out with people like Sandy Cochran and Gail Milburn and some of these other like grandmaster judges and just pick their brains on why, or walk up to them with your beer and ask them questions. Like, and you get to do that. Of course, you get to do that at Homebrew Fest too, to some extent if they're there. Um, so yeah, I mean, definitely get part. I will say now as part of a competition organization or organizer. Yes, please come help us. We need your help.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. There competitions. So we would have been done and back home probably uh, 6 hours earlier this year from MHF if we had enough judges and volunteers to do all the beer in one day. But we had to split off some of the beer into the second part, into the second day when we were doing meat and cider. Um, so, I mean, really, just a couple people makes a huge difference. Like honestly, if we would have had 6 more people total, it would have saved us 6 hours the next day, probably, maybe.
Hey, Connie.
Hi, mom. But speaking of other YouTube shows that want to hang out with us for an episode, Better on Draft will send us an email.
Yep.
So they want to come out and hang out for an episode. So we'll probably end up getting them scheduled. I told them in an email probably sometime in October. So that'll be cool. I try to catch most of their shows, and they have had a few people on lately where they've had more like homebrew oriented shows. Like they had Lance Shanner on from Omega Yeast. We had have we done an Omega show? Okay, right.
We had
I
Lance.
can remember if that was us or if that was a homebrew club meeting.
No, both. Well, Lance was on somewhere around episode 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a December show. I think early December. It was holiday time. Lance was on. Amazing guy. Super, super smart.
That's when he was alluding to all these thiolized yeasts coming out, and now they're like they have like 4 or 5. That's funny.
I think we had him on when he was like breaking the news of proper seltzer and
Lutra and stuff.
Lutra,
yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna have them on. So it'll be kind of fun to have people that probably have more knowledge about breweries in the industry than we do, but we probably have more knowledge on like the homebrew side of things than they do, and so maybe we can have some cool discussions there. We sort of honestly need more networking or more contacts in the brewery scene, because as we start to organize more competitions and stuff like that in Michigan, we sort of need more maybe space or sponsors or all that stuff. So the more people we know, the better. So that'll be cool.
Absolutely. And no, I want to hook up. Me and you and Jordan need to get together and we'll hash out some shows between now and the end of the year, just like we did last year. So I know we've got them, and we've got some homebrew related episodes coming up. We'll probably do a cider show. We're supposed to circle back with KVCC and the brewing program.
Mm-hmm. We talked to Eric Ott recently about that, so hopefully he can come on with us.
Yep.
Eric Ott took a gold in NHC this year, and he's from Kalamazoo. Has recently, I think, joined our club. He was at our last meeting, at least. He's brewing beer at a local brewery in Kalamazoo, Michigan here. So all around good dude.
Yeah.
And part of the KVCC program.
Yep. But yeah, no, I look forward to it. I'm glad to be back, and can't wait to get some more homebrew going. Home cider.
Well, hopefully we'll have something set up for next week. I know Jordan wasn't able to make it tonight. We just heard from him, so things kind of got crazy for him tonight, but it's all right. Well, I look forward to getting all three of us back on the show soon, hopefully,
Soon.
and having more guest shows and stuff like that, because we've had a lot of people ask us, who we're having for guests and stuff like that the rest of the year, and not that people don't love hearing our beautiful voices, but I do enjoy talking to people that never met before, and
Right now,
are smarter and more knowledgeable and fun than me. So
it's almost like that now with us, man. It feels like.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on the show, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you being here. It's good. It's good seeing you. Yeah. But I think everybody else that's listening right now, I guess we're wrapping up, but we will be back. I don't know. I'm if even if I have to do a solo show next week, I'm going to be here next week. So we'll.
No, I'm down for next week.
Okay.
My schedule goes. I am good between now and middle of October.
Cool.
The 17th, I will be in California. But yeah, no, we'll get together this week and we'll figure out. But no, I guarantee we'll be back next week for a show.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a good Monday. Have a good week. Yeah. We'll see you in 7 days. If you are listening to this as a podcast, go like and review it on your podcast app, platform, whatever. I don't know how many people actually listen to us. We get we've actually been getting 20 downloads a week. So whoever you are, thank you for listening to us as a podcast. Please come join our live show. We're really fun, I promise.
On YouTube, smash that like button.
All right. Yeah. But otherwise, all right, we'll catch you guys in a week. Cheers.